Morning all, hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe, hope you had a great weekend. It's Monday the 29th of June 2020, we've got another load of stuff to get through today, so let's get right to it. US daily cases then, unfortunately another new record over the weekend, and deaths though trending down still, which is good news. Florida cases, another new record also over the weekend, almost 10,000 on Saturday, 8,500 yesterday, Sunday. Deaths yesterday, not many. You might think it's insignificant, but deaths are usually low on a Sunday, so the fact that they were higher than normal, I'm a bit jittery about that now. Florida ranked number 1 over the weekend in number of cases in the whole of the US, and Orange County ranked number 2 in Florida. Ron DeSantis yesterday said that the virus was less virulent now in Florida, and that might be leading to the number of cases going up while hospitalizations don't go up, which is kind of where we've been trying to get to for the past couple of weeks, I guess. A study in Florida also said that the strain is now more infectious than it was when it started in late 2019. So if we couple more infections, less virulent, then we might be getting to where we are right now. So I do want to discuss that a little bit after the details of the news. Weather today is going to be 97 and thunderstorms are forecast this afternoon. It's going to be around the same temperature for the next few days, then cooling down a little bit, cooling down to 94. CMs are now wearing the secondary face mask, the face shield, in places where they can't social distance from guests. We talked about this late last week, so they're wearing a face mask and a face shield now. So that should, I guess, put paid to any chance of Disney World parks not reopening on the 11th of July. The Actors Union is still saying there's issues on health and safety about their members coming back to work for stage shows at Disney World. Disney World is basically saying, we've done all we can do, we're following the guidelines set by the state and the county, what more do you want us to do? So they're putting it back to the union, it looks like. Ticket holders which aren't resort guests or annual pass holders could start making their reservations yesterday. From the looks of it this morning, not much take up, loads of room post the first few days. Same for resort guests, not much take up after the first few days. Different story for annual pass holders. Most of July is done, most of August is done except midweek, and then into September, that first Saturday in September also done now for annual pass holders. I'm guessing that it's not gone into September too much because AP holders can only book 3 days. So as we get through July, I'm guessing they will book more days through September, so we'll start seeing September fill up. Over at Walt Disney World, the TTC is seeing temperature check tents being erected over the weekend. There's fencing being erected at the Grand Floridian, and that's for the NBA teams who are going to stay there so they can't interact with other guests. Swan Dolphin yesterday saw a couple of teams arriving for the MLS kickoff. That restarts on July the 8th. And over at Universal Studios, the Bourne Stuntacular will open fully tomorrow, June the 30th. If you're awake in the UK at midnight tonight, you can see a YouTube sneak peek. Obviously that's only 7 p.m. in the US Eastern, so everybody over here will be tucking into their dinner or post-dinner. So that is the news for today, the news headlines. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit that notification bell, press all. You'll get this stuff 6 days a week and something different on a Sunday. If you like the video, if you're getting some benefit from it, please do press like. The algorithm likes the likes. And if you think somebody else would benefit from seeing this video or others like it, please press share. Okay, let's get to the news. Across the US yesterday, 40,540 new cases of COVID-19 were reported. That's down from the peak of over 47,000 on Friday. The number of deaths recorded in all states yesterday was 285. The trend remains down. Daily cases in Florida reached another new record on Saturday at 9,585 for the day. Yesterday that number came down to 8,530. The number of deaths yesterday in Florida was 27. While that may not appear to be significant, 27 is much higher than is usually recorded on a Sunday. The number of people currently infected with COVID-19 in Florida is 115,322. Unfortunately, over the weekend, Florida ranked number 1 over Saturday and Sunday for the number of new cases. Orange County continued to rank number 2 behind Miami-Dade. At a press conference yesterday, Governor Ron DeSantis blamed the increases in cases in Florida on the demographic of 25 to 34 years of age. DeSantis also quoted Studer Family Children's Hospital Dr. Jason Folland. He said the less aggressive virus is spreading throughout the community. People who in the beginning were getting sick and dying weren't spreading the virus. And on top of that, the elderly populations were isolating themselves. So we're seeing maybe a less virulent or less strong spread throughout the community, in a population that doesn't have a lot of symptoms. Newsweek is reporting that COVID-19 could have mutated into a more infectious version than was previously recorded in late 2019. They said over time, COVID-19 has figured out how to hold on better and not fall apart until it needs to. The virus has, under selection pressure, made itself more stable. Probably by now, a big majority of the virus in Florida is in the mutated form. Weather in Orlando today is going to be 97 Fahrenheit, that's 36 degrees centigrade, with thunderstorms this afternoon. We're going to get the same kind of temperatures until Saturday, when it's going to cool down to 94. I said on Friday that Disney cast members who were front-facing and couldn't social distance from guests would be allowed to wear a secondary face shield. This is on top of the usual face covering that they wear, and these shields were being used in Disney Springs over the weekend. You'll remember that there was a petition set up to try and stop Disney World parks reopening on July the 11th because of health and safety concerns. This secondary face shield is a direct response to that. There seems to be a bit of a blame game going on between a local union and Disney World in terms of getting its actors back to work. The union is saying it's worried about health and safety, while Disney have said that the health and well-being of their cast members and guests is an important priority, and theme park reopening plan has been approved by county and state officials. It's not known yet when stage shows will recommence at Disney World parks. Park reservations were made available to non-resort guests and non-annual pass holders yesterday. From this snapshot of the park availability calendar taken at 06:30 today, you can see that there is availability in all parks that are open. Remember that between the 11th and 14th of July only Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom are open. For resort guests, the choices are a little more limited in the early days. On July the 12th, Animal Kingdom reservations have now been sold out, and that's the same story on July the 14th. From July the 15th to the 18th, Hollywood Studios is unavailable, but all other parks are available. For annual pass holders in July, there's much less availability than for resort guests and for ticket holders. For example, on July 27th, only Epcot is available, and for pretty much every date between the 11th of July and the 26th, there's nothing available. Dates are also filling up quickly for annual pass holders in August. From this example of August the 29th, only Epcot is available. On the first Saturday in September, both Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios have already sold out. Remember that annual pass holders can only book 3 days currently, and as we get past July the 11th, I'm sure September will start to fill up. As Disney World gets ready to reopen its parks on July the 11th, these temperature check tents were seen being erected around the Transportation and Ticket Centre over the weekend. Work is also ongoing at the Grand Floridian resort. Several NBA teams will be staying at the Grand Floridian, and fencing is being erected to stop them interacting with the public. Major League Soccer teams have started arriving at the Swan Dolphin. In this tweet, Minnesota United and Columbus Crew have already arrived. The MLS kicks off again on July the 8th. I was going to include today the list of shops not open at Epcot. These will now not be included today, but will be included tomorrow. At Universal Studios, the Bourne Stuntacular, which has been in technical rehearsals, will open fully tomorrow, the 30th of June. Universal has said that a sneak peek will be available on YouTube today, June 29th at 7 PM Eastern, which is midnight in the UK. Highlights will be available on Twitter and Instagram. So the big news surrounds the uptick in cases over the states, the uptick in cases in Florida, but not the uptick in hospitalisations and deaths that would maybe you would think would follow that. So the reason now over the weekend seems to be coming out that there's more infections, but it's less deadly. So if you couple those things together, we're going to get more cases, less hospitalisations for those cases, and less deaths for those cases. So look, I'm no medical expert, I don't profess to be, so I'm just trying to join the dots here. There isn't one news article that actually sets out the link between more cases, less deaths, but I'm trying to find it. Believe me, I am trying to find it, because this is major news today. And what does that all mean? Does it mean that borders could be open a little earlier because people aren't going to die, people aren't going to be hospitalised, they might get it, but it might be more flu-like, even though it's more respiratory? Do you know what I mean? It's not deadly. People might be laid up for a few days like they would be with the flu, but they're less likely to have to go to hospital or less likely to die. So does that mean now that borders could be open earlier than people have been saying they could in the past few days, past few weeks? I don't know is the answer, but I will keep a very, very close eye on this, because this is huge potentially. Lots of action now at Disney World. Temperature tents going up. Fences being erected for the NBA teams. They're starting to arrive. Their season kicks off at the end of July. And MLS teams starting to arrive at the Swan and Dolphin. Their season kicks off July the 8th. So there's going to be tons of action going on around the wide world of sports very, very soon, and in arenas around and about it. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. There's not really too much more to say. Not much for me to sort of op-ed on, apart from where are we going with the cases and deaths. So yeah, join me again tomorrow for more of this stuff. Hopefully I'll have some more news on the correlation between upticks in cases, downticks in deaths, if downticks is a word. But yeah, join me then. Until then, take care, stay safe. Cheers for now. Bye bye.